Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be giving you my review on Power Book 2 Ghost. This is episode 8, so let's get into it. So the episode starts off with Braden talking to Tariq, or should I say Tommy Jr. talking to Tariq about wanting to sell coke. It is homecoming week, parents are there, the kids are fiending, and he's like, you know what, we can really push this weight out here on the campus, but you know, Tariq is shutting him down. He's like, nah, you know, that's too hot, you know, we ain't trying to get into it like that. And at that point, I did agree with Tariq. So, you know what I'm saying? He shut Braden down. So then we see a scene of the parents in the classroom, in the canonical studies classroom. Of course, all the parents are there except for Tariq's parents. And it's funny because you can really see that, like, the kids are like their parents. You have light-skinned Keisha's mama, who's just as outspoken and borderline ratchet as she is. You also have Lauren's mom, who we have met before, who was clearly a very uppity heifer. Okay, we have a little white girl who I don't know her name, but she's very naive and privileged, and her dad is over there, and they're having this discussion about the invisible man. And so it just was funny to kind of just see in that scene, honestly, it was just funny to see that, like, you could kind of see where each of the students came from. You could really see like a backstory and get a better understanding of the households in which they were brought up. Then we see 2-Bit, and I don't know about y'all, but I am actually excited to see 2-Bit. Now in Power, the original Power, I was not here for 2-Bit, but I am starting to like him more and more as this new iteration of Power is happening. So he goes to see Spank's mom, which is Lunel, and she says that, you know, the rumors are on the street that Spank snitched. And even though 2-Bit know that it is true that Spank snitched, because that's the only way for him to have gotten out as soon as he did, 2-Bit says, you know, that ain't it. If he hears anybody saying anything negative about Spank, he's gonna handle it off here in these streets, and that he was gonna take care of Lunel. So I do like 2-Bit. What do y'all think? Y'all drop down in the comments. How are you feeling about 2-Bit? Cut to on campus, we see Zeke visiting Carrie at the office, and all I'm gonna say is Zeke is getting too comfortable, honey. See, that's the thing when you got that, you know, that cooler on these young boys, honey. They get that nose wide open. He's too comfortable. He visited her, calling her by her name, visiting her at the office. She trying to keep things low key. He ain't even understanding. He gonna be her downfall, and she don't even know it yet. But Zeke's at the office, and he basically saying that he's very nervous about this game, because there's going to be a recruiter there. And she gives him the advice to just, like, you know, don't worry about it. Treat it like any other game. And of course, this motherly advice does nothing but has Zeke's nose even more. Meanwhile, across town, or should I say across campus, we have Tariq. They finished class. He's walking with Lauren and her, like, family, and they're like, oh, we're gonna go to lunch, whatever. So they go to the room. He's like, let me go to the room and get whatever. So he goes to the room, Lauren goes with her, and she kind of confronts him about what happened the night before, or the few days before, where she was trying to get her some, and Tariq basically curved her. And he's just saying, you know, you just broke up with your boyfriend. What do you expect me to do? And while they're having this little exchange, guess who shows up? Effie. That's right, Effie from Choked. Effie shows up, and she walks in there like she owns the place, which of course makes Lauren feel some type of way, and she leaves. But Tariq doesn't feel anyways, because you know what? He spends the rest of the entire episode all up under Effie's butt. And now they're in canoodleization. She's at Stansfield because of the game, the homecoming game, and she's trying to get this work, okay? She's trying to sell this work. She knows Tariq is still in the game. She's trying to see, you know, how she can push this weight around campus. And initially he tells her that he was out of the game initially. But what happens is, as Lauren and her family are going to have lunch, they run into 2-Bit, or as 2-Bit says, Tariq's cousin. And so he asked them about, you know, where Tariq is in his dorm room. He shows up to the dorm room with the gun. He sticks up Tariq and it's like, you know, your daddy owes me some money, so now his debt is your debt, and I want, I think it was 24 G's by tomorrow, or else I'm coming back over here and there's gonna be blood everywhere. So because of this threat, Tariq got to make a lot of money and he has to make it fast. He tries to get the money from the lawyer, but until he graduates from the school, ain't no getting into his trust fund. The lawyer's keeping tabs on him. So he calls Tasha to see how he can kind of maneuver this and work with Effie, because he does not trust her. And Tasha says, you ain't got to trust her, but you have to get her to trust you. In other words, Tariq is finna put his little young boy wiles. I was gonna say feminine wiles, but like, I don't know. What is it called? His Mac. He's gonna put his Mac on. Is that what the young kids call it? Y'all tell me what it's called. He's gonna put the moves on Effie to get her on his side, and they're gonna be in cahoots to sell this coat. He gives her the lay of the land. He's like, you know, look at this. This is how you know who you trying to sell it to. And literally within a day, they sold $50,000 worth of drugs. Crazy money. Them white kids are out here sniffing like crazy. Meanwhile, we have Jungle Jim. Y'all know that's, you know, Jabari, the teacher. Jungle Jim, y'all already know. We have Jungle Jim meeting up with his editor, and they're or his agent, and they're very excited about his book. So excited that he's like pushing it to the publishers, but the publishers are going to know, how does the story end? Is this little young drug dealer going to get away with it? Is he going to end up dead, alive, or in jail? And you know what? Jabari doesn't know. You want to know why he doesn't know? Because it's not his story to tell. But because of the pressure from his agent, he's going to have to figure out what he can do to find out. Which leads us to later on in the episode, where we find Jimmy Crackhorn following Tariq to a drop-off spot with Drew. Now, what I found weird about this scene was that Drew and Tariq were standing outside of this hotel room doing this drop, talking all extra freely in the hall. Like, they wasn't even in the hall. They all are like out in the open. Like, how you doing this drop out in the open? What kind of drug dealer are you? Go in the room. That whole thing was stupid. But during this drop that is just out in the freaking open, Jungle Jim is able to find out about Course Correct. He's able to find out about the name, Drew's name. He was getting all the information and taking notes, because Tariq is stupid. As smart as he is, he's dumb as hell. Meanwhile, across town, shout out to Alexander Rogers. I love how he says that. But we also see Braden and his family, who is just insufferable, at some type of like homecoming dinner, and Braden notices that Trace is on one, like legitimately on one, to the point where his nose is bleeding. So he's like, he realizes that that Trace and his sister have done a few lines of coke, and he's trying to figure out who's selling on his turf. So later he confronts Tariq about it, and instead of Tariq just coming out and saying that Effie is there, he lies about Effie being there, not knowing that she's there and that she's selling, and that they've even been in cahoots. Not only have they been in cahoots, but they've also had relations. Did I forget to tell y'all that when Tariq decides to get into business with Effie, they have full-on relations, honey. They set them guns to the side and get it in. And I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of here for it. I think Tariq and Effie are a better fit than him and Lauren and him and Diana. What do y'all think? Drop that down in the comments below. Alright, so it is now officially game day. But before the game gets started, Cain is at the GTG gang, and he has a hit put out on Tariq. They dressed up one of the little gang members as a student with the different, you know, with the faces, face paint. They done gave him the hit. Cain already told him, you know, take him out by yourself. Don't let anyone see it, because y'all are on a white campus, so the police will be called easily. And once the hit is done, hit me up so I know that it's through. Now we already know that this is going to go wrong. Cain is out here being rogue, and it's going to go bad for him. On campus, we see Zeke talking to Carrie. They have a little exchange, and while they're having this little kind of conversation, Monet walks up, and Zeke proceeds to kind of introduce Carrie, but he kind of slips up and kind of calls her Carrie, and you know Monet, she don't miss nothing, okay? Monet don't miss nothing, and she peeps that. She already know what's going on. And Carrie, you gonna lose your job. You about to lose your job. You about to lose your job. Get this dance. Hey, you about to lose your job. Keep messing around with Zeke. Keep messing around with him. So it's game day. Everybody's sitting there watching them warm up. You know, we know Zeke is going to do an amazing job. The family is sitting in the stands. So, of course, Tariq comes and he sits directly next to Mary. He's sitting with the family. 2-Bit is texting because he's ready to get his payment. So Tariq makes an excuse to go to the concession stand to go kind of drop off this money with 2-Bit. While he's doing that, the hitter is out and he's following Tariq, but Tariq kind of peeps him. So instead of meeting 2-Bit at the entrance, he tells 2-Bit to meet him at the pool. They run down to the pool. Tariq and the hitter are fighting. It's not looking good for Tariq at all, but in busts 2-Bit to save the day, and the hitter is now drowned in the pool. They do everything to kind of clean up the scene. Tariq gives 2-Bit the money, but guess what, homie? I just saved your life. So this little 24K ain't about to be nothing. You owe me double this. Double this. I just saved your life. And while I don't know why Tariq thought that little exchange was going to be free, I am happy that 2-Bit did save him. And also, I feel like that's going to cause some type of working relationship between them. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, 2-Bit's extorting him now, but I think eventually that is going to work in Tariq's favor. So, of course, the GTG texts the guy and it's like, you know, did you get the job done? They text a picture of him in the pool, and it's like it's over with. And so when Cain comes back to sit in the stands, I mean, not when Cain, but when Tariq comes back to sit in the stands, Cain is confused and bewildered because Tariq, you're supposed to be dead. So now instead of Tariq being dead, it looks like Cain set up GTG to end up killing one of their own. So now GTG is out for the Tejada family. All I'm saying is Monet peeped all of this happening. She didn't quite know what was happening, but her face the entire time was like, something ain't right. Now, because Tariq literally just barely survived with his life, he cancels his plans that he had with Effie to meet up later, and Effie immediately thinks that he has blown her off and has just used her. So when she runs into Brayden in the hallway, she kind of spills the beans that her and Tariq were in cahoots selling the coke around campus, and this makes Brayden mad and feel like Tariq is keeping secrets from him, because guess what, he is. What I don't understand is if Brayden's supposed to be like your Tommy, you know what I'm saying, you need to be transparent with him. The fact that Ghost wasn't transparent with Tommy is what messed up their relationship. You ain't learned from your daddy, but I guess, I mean, he ain't see what we ain't seen, so maybe he ain't know to learn. But I'm just saying, like, this is supposed to be your right-hand man. You need to let him know what's going on. Even if it's not every single detail, I don't understand why Tariq keeps lying to Brayden. It just doesn't make sense to me. So, of course, Brayden is upset. So, we assume that they won the game. Zeke went off. So, now it's time to go to the club. While they at the club, honey, all the people in there, they like, hey. The teammates are in there. Drew is trying to text his little boo thing. I can't remember his boo thing's name, but he's trying to text his little boo thing. Or he's trying to call his little boo thing, and he ignores the call. So, of course, Drew calls Zeke kind of in a roundabout way to figure out where old boy is at. And Zeke invites him to the club. So, they in the club, they sitting in VIP, they drinking it up. The little groupies come, and Zeke just kind of passes them off to his teammates. Now, what I don't understand is that how things work now? Because like I feel like y'all are good groupies, because these teammates, that wasn't nobody worried about them. Like if you was a good groupie, honey, you was supposed to get Zeke, not these teammates, especially not one who don't even want you. But anyway, to save face, I don't know, I cannot remember his name. We just call him homeboy because I can't remember his name. Homeboy goes off with one of the girls, and you know, to kind of save face, because all of the other teammates are realizing, hey yo dude, you ain't got no cutty all season, so you know, go get on that. While he's over there with the girl, of course Drew walks in and sees it. So he gets upset, they walk away, and they have a little exchange, and basically he just feels like he can't come out because it's going to mess up his chances of getting to the league and being successful. Whether that's true or not, we do not know, but you know, Drew's nose is wide open over this dude for whatever reason. Excuse me. So they're leaving the club, and all of a sudden, Zeke and his crew is jumped by GTG. And it's because they feel like Cain set them up. So while they are sitting there beating them up and literally about to shoot Zeke in the knee, Drew and old boy, they come up. Drew's like, hey, you know, we can talk about this. If you want to get back in the game, you know, we can do that. So that's when it raises alarms in old boy, like, okay, he's into some shady-ish. And right before the leader of GTG can shoot Zeke in the knee and completely end his career, Drew tackles him and beats the brakes off of him. He was right about to shoot him, but Zeke caught him out of it, you know, before he could. Also, that would not be smart. Y'all are like out in the open. This is not a smart thing. But also, I was kind of here for it. I was like, Drew was whooping his ass. Like, I was kind of here for it. And you know, I didn't blame him. But of course that shakes Zeke up to his core, because he literally almost lost his entire career, and which causes him to run to Carrie's house to seek comfort. Like I said, Zeke is too deep. Zeke is too deep in there, and that's gonna cause some problems later. Now this entire incident of course has Monet hot on fire, because she thinks that Drew put Zeke in harm's way, not knowing that all of this was because of Cain. And instead of ratting out his brother, Drew takes all of the heat. But even though he takes the heat, he goes to confront Cain at the old girl's house that he's been hiding out at. So he confronts him, lets him know what happened, and says, we need you to handle this. We need you to go take the GTG out. Cain's like, say less. I'm already on my way to go do it. So when he goes to the warehouse to take them out, he cuts the lights. These gang members are stupid as hell, because you literally just was out doing hits and you think that y'all didn't pay the light bill. I don't know. It was very stupid. I was like, y'all are not smart at all. And then you just walking up. You know, this guy just got shot in the front door, and you just gonna walk up uncovered. Duh. When the second henchman got shot in the head, I felt no type of ways. Y'all are stupid. Y'all are stupid. But instead of shooting the head honcho, Cain go ahead and put him kind of on the payroll. He tells him that everything that comes through GTG, half of it is now his. Now, to me that doesn't make sense, because you can't trust them. They literally were just about to shoot your cousin's knee off. But this is the world of power, so let me not question it too hard. Meanwhile, across town, Tariq is shaken up. He literally just walked away barely with his life. So he calls his mom and talks to her, and she tells him that you have to let me know everything that has happened. So he tells her what's happened, and of course, like the mama bear that she is, she ends up hitting up Lorenzo and talks to him and basically tells him, because they believe that Monet, I don't know why I keep saying Monique, they believe that Monet is the one that sent the hit. So she hits up Lorenzo and was like, if you hurt my son, I promise you I'm gonna find a way to hurt someone that you love. That's that mama bear, and I was here for it. Also, I don't necessarily believe that it was wise for Tasha to get involved, but I understand where she was coming from. But by her saying that, it makes Lorenzo be on alert, so when he talks to Monet, they come to the conclusion that Cain was the one that set this hit up. And Monet respects Drew for taking the fall for it, even though it was Cain's fault. But because he just legit put the family in harm's way, she's cut him off. Like, Monet is cold-blooded. And think about how cold-blooded you have to be to legit cut your son off from the family. She's like, he's dead. He's dead to us. And when he comes to the house to try to talk and apologize, Diana can't even let him in the house. And you could tell that hurt her. There was just one tear. It was one tear right here. But she gave him some money and sent him on his way. Cain is out here fending for himself, because he's out here moving reckless. And he has no one to blame but himself. The episode ends with Jimmy Crackhorn downloading the Course Correct app because, of course, like I said earlier, they were out there being stupid, just talking. And so he downloads the app to kind of get a better understanding of what's going on. So we already know that Tariq's empire is slowly coming down. Not only is that starting to kind of come around him, but Brayden kind of confronts him about him still dealing with Effie, and Brayden doesn't trust him. So he says that the business is over. Tariq is all distraught, but he goes and sees Monet, and Monet and him have a conversation because he can't trust her. And she lets him know that the hit was not from her or her family. Cain was doing it on his own, and that he has a family in her. And if Cain tries to come after him again and he has to defend himself, it is what it is. She'll feel no ways about it. But he is not allowed to go and seek out Cain. Also, it wouldn't be smart for Tariq to go seek out Cain, honey. You can't handle Cain. Cain is a whole fool. Cain is a whole fool. You'd be dead before you even got out the car. But that is essentially how the episode ends. Things are starting to kind of close in on Tariq, and I don't think that he's necessarily, I think he's smart enough to figure it out, but I don't think he thinks. Like, the thing about Ghost was, Ghost thought like 3 and 4 steps ahead, and I don't think Tariq does. And I say that especially because of how he's handling things with Brayden, because none of that makes sense to me. But that's it, you guys. That is my quick little recap and thoughts on the episode 8 of Power Book 2 Ghost. It's so hard for me to say that. Power Book 2 Ghost. Please drop down in the comments and let me know your thoughts. We can sit up here and chat about the show down below. I do this every week. Please make sure that you check out my other videos. If you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.